There are some people that assume that this Gap ad was a direct response to the American Eagle ad, and no, it's not. The Gap has always had the culture in the DNA of their branding, like since as far back as I can remember. It's not something they have to try to do. It's not something they have to focus group to make sure it's the right thing. They just know how to speak to the culture. And it's not a matter of just knowing, but it's an understanding of generationally of where the culture sits. And there are people out there that, of course, will just argue that what Gap is doing is just woke. I think that's the important thing to really call out in all of this, and something that I don't see enough people mentioning is when you have people using the word woke unironically, they are using the word as a placeholder for slurs. Whether it's the N word, the B word, the F word, the couple of C words. This is all about a demographic of white people airing grievances about realities in our society today. That the culture does not lean predominantly white, nor does it want to. Especially when you get the younger generations, they understand that when they hear the word woke, they are listening to a bigot expressing their anger and hatred for the way things are being portrayed in media, the way that certain conversations are being geared towards people who have previously been marginalized, oppressed, and otherwise slighted from the general discourse. And these people exist in the marketing world. And I've always been of the mind that if you don't have diversity in your personal life, there's no way in hell that anybody should expect you to have any kind of diversity represented in your work. It's just not going to happen. Especially if you want that diversity to be authentic, to be genuine. You're not going to get it from someone who has no black friends or doesn't really see women as anything but sexual objects, or people who fetishize certain ethnic groups. That is not a connection to the culture. That's a perversion of the culture. And there are just some people who are incapable with engaging with other ethnic groups or with other cultures because of their own shortcomings. It is this feeling of insecurity or inadequacy that they have with, in their mind, being excluded from the general discourse. The only thing that's happening is that there are more black people, brown people, and women in executive positions and executive roles, and they are bringing their experience to their work, just like the predominantly straight white men do. They bring their experience to their work, and unfortunately, when it comes to the culture, especially in this day and age, that experience is extremely limiting. You have this same demographic of people freaking out over the new Cracker Barrel logo. When people found out that this was brought about by the new CEO, which happens to be a woman, that's when you start hearing about how everything is woke and how Cracker Barrel's woke now, especially because they took the mascot, the so-called mascot, off of the logo. And the mascot is a white man. And of course, there's a demographic that feels as if their culture is being taken away from them, regardless of the fact that a main feature of their culture is excluding other cultures, which is where all of the irony and the hypocrisy of all of this comes from. Trying to pretend that our culture is not made up of more than white men is silly, and it's a waste of time and energy, and will only appeal to a very small demographic of people, whether you like it or not. And as it turns out, this new generation, Gen Z, they don't have a tolerance for people who unironically throw the word woke around. They don't have a tolerance for bigotry. And if you are incapable of letting that stuff go, you're going to get left behind. That is the reality. And just on a basic level, when you look on social media, the Gap ads are being emulated and they're being honored. The American Eagle ads are being mocked and ridiculed. Read the room.